Right, great. Thanks very much, everyone, for joining us for the second pre-match press conference ahead of tomorrow's game, New Zealand versus Pakistan. We're joined by New Zealand captain Kane Williamson, who'll be taking questions now. So we'll take questions in the room and then any potential questions over the Zoom. So can I see a show of hands, please, for questions?
Thanks, Alan McCain. Congratulations for being in the same finals. Is history of any relevance to tomorrow's match? Pakistan has got a terrific record against England in Christchurch. They were 2-1. Is it of any relevance to tomorrow's match?
I mean, they're a strong team. We know it's going to be a tough match, and both teams to be in the semis have been playing some good cricket throughout. So I guess the past is the past, and I'm sure both teams are looking forward to tomorrow.
Okay, Black Caps have come very familiar with the semi-finals. What is it about your team that makes it so special that they're constantly in this position?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's just focusing on our cricket. You come to these tournaments, and as we've seen, all teams can beat each other, and it's certainly made way for a pretty exciting event. And you know, I guess you're going through it trying to adjust to conditions as quickly as possible, make those changes to the different opposition, and really go out and try and express yourselves. And it's been nice that we've been able to see that throughout this competition. And you know, we certainly want to be doing that again tomorrow.
Been a lot of talk about 1992. You would have been very young back then, but is there anything you remember about or can remember from that game?
Not really. I was 2, so not a lot, but you know, there's a rich cricketing history in New Zealand, and there's been a number of great moments, and you know, so for us as a team, we're really focusing on where we are at the moment and the sort of cricket we want to play today.
And there's been a court case happening behind the scenes here at the moment. Do you feel that's been overshadowing the semi-final this week?
Yeah, for us, we're just focusing on the cricket.
Everybody's talking about T20 being a batsman's game, but your new ball pair is doing wonders. Tell us about that pair, because they are not restricting runs, but they are going for wickets.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 very experienced players for us, big players for us for a long time, whether that's taking wickets or in particular adjusting to conditions, which certainly when you come to tournaments, world events, that's a big part of playing in them. So they've been outstanding throughout this tournament. And tomorrow we're at another venue against another opposition, and we'll have to make those adjustments again.
Okay, do you think it's an advantage coming back to a ground where you've played twice already this tournament?
Yeah, I suppose it was kind of interesting. The first game we played here, the wicket was a very good one, and then the second time we played here, it had changed, and sometimes you can take, you know, perhaps what you were expecting the wicket to be like in the first game and think it would behave in the same way, which it didn't. So whether that's a disadvantage or an advantage, it's sort of hard to know. Both teams have played here, so yeah, it'll be looking to focus on our cricket really, and the plans that we want to look to execute, and make sure we do adjust to the conditions and try and play smartly.
And does it feel like it's been a team effort to get to this stage? It looks as if everyone's chipped in at some stage. Glenn's obviously had one of the standout performances, but does it bode well for you that you've had everyone's had a say at some stage?
Yeah, I think, you know, with the fickle nature of T20 and the competitive nature of the tournament, with all teams, all games being close basically, and all teams beating each other, you know, sort of means that there's not a reliance on one or two. It's guys trying to play their roles as well as they can and make contributions towards, you know, what we're trying to do as a team, and we've seen that. You mentioned Glenn, he's been outstanding, but there've been a number of other players that have stood up on a number of occasions, and everybody, like you mentioned, has certainly put their hand up. So for us, it's really trying to play together as a team and focus on that.
I can. 5th semi-final in a row in white ball tournaments, and obviously you've had 2 finals in between, came pretty close in 2019. You know, obviously a great bunch of guys you've got together in that squad. Is it a case of now or never, or it's not going to happen to you guys? I mean, if it doesn't happen now, is that sort of feeling setting in the dressing room? And if it is, how do you cater to it?
No, I mean, I think there's been a lot of good in tournament play, and for us, you know that in any game that you play, the competition fierce, and you come across so many other good teams with other match winners, and on any day anything can happen. So you know, we're just focusing on one game at a time, as we have done throughout this tournament, and now we're in a semi-final, which is a nice place to be. But it's about the cricket and about the type of cricket we want to keep committing to and keep playing. And that'll be our focus.
Does it add in any way that you've done what you've done in the past, or does that not really matter? Like, for example, you came close last year or in 2019. Does that matter at all, or no? It's just about the day.
You know, I suppose when you turn up, everybody wants to win. That's kind of a big part of the idea, I guess, of tournament sport. And if you can try and find yourself in positions where you can compete to get across the line, that's a really good thing. But we go into a semi-final. There's 4 teams there that certainly have the ambition to go all the way, and that's certainly been the case in the other tournaments. So it's exciting. They're all great teams, all playing really good cricket, and we're certainly focused on our challenge tomorrow, and that's a strong Pakistan side.
So, Kane, you haven't shown much Anzac spirit by flogging Australia and then losing to England. So, how does it feel? One, playing a major role in tipping the Australians out, and 2, what do you think went wrong with them?
I suppose when you go through the round robin or pool play, you know, we had 3 teams on the same points, and it came down to run rate, and there's some really fine margins in that, and you know, we know how strong they are. Obviously, it's only a year ago that they won this tournament, so you know, I think the fickle nature of it, the fact that you go out, you have to play with freedom, and there are match winners in all teams, means that it's a very difficult tournament to read. So yeah, I mean, they largely played good cricket, and naturally every team's lost the game. I think throughout the whole tournament, there's not been one team that's sort of steamrolled an event. It's just been really competitive cricket, and that's, I think, just been the nature of the tournament.
Can just about Finn Allen just coming in, can you just talk about how, as a captain and Bidding, how you've allowed him that freedom, taken pressure off, and how important is he, given that you come in at number 3, that he could potentially, just the way he plays, could get out first ball or give you like what he did against Australia? Can you just talk about how he's progressed and how you've gone about it as a leader to talk to him?
Yeah, I mean, that's the strength of Finn's game, is his ability to hit the ball hard and go out and play with freedom, and encouraging that is important, not just for him to play his natural game, but also for our team and the balance that he brings with his style of play. So yeah, he's enjoying his cricket, and he's young and got heaps and heaps of talent, as we've already seen. So yeah, he's excited at the challenge tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, that's cricket, and that's sort of having different roles, I think, and coming in and looking to commit to your role, and that, like you mentioned, that can vary a lot, whether it's batting at 3 or 4, or even Devon at the other end, batting with Finn, and it's trying to build those partnerships together, complement each other as a team, and ultimately try and put together competitive totals or chase them down by playing some smart cricket. So yeah, it's great. It's been great watching him go about his business and go out and play with freedom.
Kane, do you feel like, sorry, do you feel like you've found form at the right end of the tournament in the last couple of games, obviously approaching the finals, and then also history sort of suggests that when it comes to big games and finals, you stand up. Is it something you sort of embrace or you revel in this part of a tournament?
For me, it's focusing on the role, and you know, we've seen throughout this tournament the variety of conditions, and naturally you factor in the different opposition and the different strengths that they have. So yeah, it's really trying to do your bit for the team and try and make as big contribution as you can, gear that towards where we need to be as a side, and that's the focus, and that's, I think, the focus for all the guys. So very much a team focus for us. Bat, ball in the field, and we're going to try and continue that and try and carry that through.
Do you think one of the teams is going to be a slight favorite, or is it going to be even Stevens?
It's hard to tell. It's been hard to read throughout this whole tournament. Naturally, you have teams that are ranked at different sort of places on the chart, I suppose. But finals sport can go any way. Both teams sort of match up pretty well. There's some similar trends, but both been playing really good cricket, so no doubt it'll be a good match.
And how do you rate Pakistan's pace attack? Except for Shaheen, you faced them in the tri-series as well.
They've got an outstanding pace attack, and like I mentioned, they've been playing really good cricket. Some really experienced players throughout their side, match winners. So, a real strength in their team.
Kane, what do you think about the Pakistan opening pair? They are not performing at their best. Is it a sign of advantage for the New Zealand camp? And what do you think about the middle order of Pakistan? They really performed well against the South Africa in this pitch.
They're a strong side and a very well balanced side. In this format, it can be fickle, and you're certainly trying to always take the risks that are required to move your team forward. And as we know, the quality that they have in the Pakistan team from one, right down the order. So for us, it's focusing on our cricket and what we want to try and do.
Okay, I think that's all we have time for. Thanks very much, Kane, for your time. Cheers, everyone.